Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of This is a Revolution, your weekly RevPro podcast. I am George, joined as always by Mr. Dave the Mark. Dave, welcome to the show.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
All right, mate. All right. I am. I survived my first week of being a teacher and a parent at the same school, which was
Oh,
is new, but yeah, went really, really well. Sophie
nice.
absolutely loves her new school, and it's actually quite nice having her there with me. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all good. Um, and I am finally making a significant effort to shift some pounds. So I have taken on a pretty hard dieting scheme, but so far I'm very, very happy with it.
Good man. Good man. It's not an easy thing to like. It's so much easier to just sit and rest on your laurels, isn't it? Like I know I've been there for a while, and all it takes is something to eventually give you the kick up the arse that you need, and then just go right. I'm going to
Yeah,
do this. So good
I
on
saw
you for
some
getting it done.
photos of myself over the holiday, like 6 weeks, and was just like, when did I get this fat? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think before before I went to my first RevPro show, so like pre-pandemic, I used to in a week I'd do an hour's football, an hour's badminton, a 5K run, and a 10K run. Now I couldn't run to the end of the road and back.
Hmm.
Like I was always one of those people that I did sports quite competitively a lot, but I ate badly.
Hmm.
But it was okay because I ate badly, but then I'd run for like 4 hours a week. I'd just be running. I'd just be burning it all off. And then the pandemic started and we all just stopped moving and I
Yeah,
just never started again.
yeah, that was the same as me, mate. I get that. I used to do so like I go to the gym quite regularly now, but I used to go even more regularly than that. And like I basically got one-on-one like coaching because no one else came to the classes. I got on really well with the gym instructors. And I don't know if you ever remember or ever did see it, but there was a picture that when he was in Edge at the time, um, he posted his comeback photo and he looked ripped. And I went, that's what I want to look like. And I gave it to my coaches.
Wow.
And I was like, I just want to get in shape for the first time. I want to get in shape. And they were like, we'll do it. So we started work. And then 2 months later, the pandemic happened. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was like, this will be fine. And I ended up not having work for 6 months, which I thought, well, it's fine. At least I've got the gym. And then that
Yeah.
didn't happen either. And since then, I mean, I know that's 5 years ago, but it's taken me nearly that amount of time to find it. And like you said, I mean,
Yeah.
I was never the slimmest of blokes, but my goal weight that I would like to get to is about a stone and a half lighter than what I used to consider myself as being as fat. And now I'm about 3.5 stone heavier than that. So
Yeah.
that's like you said, it's that you just have that. Like I was making cakes all the time in the pandemic, but I was also out in the garden with the kettlebells and exercising and stuff. But just those cakes came every other day, and yeah,
Yeah, mate. I just I've come to realise that there's no point me trying to can't squeeze exercise into my regime. Like
mhm,
full-time job, variable hours because it depends what happens. Like literally, it depends what happens on a day as to how long I stay at work. If the day's gone smoothly, I come home early. If the day's not gone smoothly, I'm putting out fires and dealing with it. Like
mhm,
middle management, like classic
yeah,
kind of one. Um, but then I've got three kids who are getting older and need a dad more. Like need help with homework, need someone to play with, need just quality time.
mhm,
And then like the Dave the Mark stuff, like there's every time I get a little bit bored, I add something new to it. I'll be like, oh, I should start doing this as well. But then it becomes part of it. And before you know it, you're like, it's photos every week. It's takeaways. It's an interview. It's a vlog. It's a podcast. It's it's like it's all these things, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But it just means that, on average, I don't reckon I actually sit down to be like, I can do whatever I want now. No one needs me to do anything until about 9 o'clock at night. I'm just done then. I'm like, I just want to sit here and watch telly for an hour and then I fall asleep. Like last night, I literally fell asleep holding my phone, researching shoes because I wanted a new pair of shoes for work. I woke up this morning, still had my glasses on. Phone was still on the Google browser I was on, literally just on my chest, and I'm like, oh well. But so I'm trying to do it. I'm going to try and lose a significant amount of weight purely through diet.
Yeah. Well, that to be fair,
that I have a significant amount of weight from which I can effectively, I've got a calorie store, right? In my belly, I've got a calorie store. So, like the 16-8 diet, I'm doing like the extreme version of that, which is effectively a 24-hour fast between meals.
Wow.
So I eat once per day at 5 o'clock, and that meal and that drink are the only calories I consume until the next day at 5 o'clock.
Fucking hell.
So, which, to be fair, Monday to Friday isn't that different for me, in the sense that I have to change my drinks. I'd normally have 3 or 4 coffees with milk and sugar in. Now I'm drinking fucking peppermint tea, with 0-calorie drinks. So water, black coffee, and black tea, so they don't break the fast. I never eat breakfast and lunch when I'm at work because I'm literally non-stop at work. I get like a 20-minute break and a 30-minute break in the day, like in the school day, and I just don't get time to take them because that's when all my staff come and ask me questions and the kids come and sort out their homework login details and stuff like this, and I don't get to just sit down and eat. And if they didn't come and do that, then if I was like harsh and I was like, no, this is my lunchtime, they'd just do it to me at the end of the day. So just you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. So that part of it's not hard. It's the not eating anything after I've eaten my dinner and at the weekend. So okay, Phoebes and I had a McDonald's on Saturday afternoon before Portchester Hall, probably at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that was it. Nothing else until the next day at 3 or 4 in the afternoon when we had our roast dinner.
Yeah.
And then nothing again until tonight when I've just had sausage and mash. But it's mad to think that just in a week I can't finish my dinners. Like even though I'm only eating once a day, I can't finish the dinner because I'm so full so quickly.
Fair play, mate. That shows it's working.
Yeah, and also I properly researched it as well as I could. And there were lots of things where it was like, this is a thing, it can be really helpful, but it's only really appropriate for people that are significantly overweight. There are some health effects which can negatively come. You can find yourself getting much more tired, headaches, and all of these things. And I'm more tired in the evening, but only when it gets to 9, 9:30, when I feel like that's when you should be tired if you worked all day. But otherwise, I've cut the coffee. The coffee has cut itself down because I don't like black coffee. So it's all right, but I'd rather just drink the water. Yeah. Because also the caffeine kind of messes me up a little bit because it's I'm not having anything. I'm not having any actual nutritional intake until later that day. So just getting these little bursts of caffeine kind of is a bit jarring. Yeah. So it's quite nice. I feel healthier immediately. Yeah, good for you, mate. Long may it continue. Absolutely. I need to get back on the bandwagon because I've been a little bit lax these last couple of weeks. But the game changer for me was you can get these chicken skewers from Iceland, and they're all these kind of nice ones, but it's really high protein and relatively decent, low calories. So I just cook a couple of those every day for lunch, and honest to God, the best thing I've done in my diet. Yeah. Oh, look at us. We'll get there, mate. What you should do is
you should also supplement this by trying to find an extra couple of hours a week and going to the London School of Wrestling. I will go to the Portsmouth School of Wrestling, and we, Dave, will get on the card for Wembley Arena.
Wembley Arena, mate. What a beautiful
Amazing
segue.
stuff. Oh.
So happy for that. I didn't realise how big Wembley is.
Yeah, I was speaking with someone. I think it was Marty I was speaking with, and he was like, "This is massive, isn't it?" I was like, and I was like, in terms of stature, I was like, "It's massive," but I was like, "Oh, the venue's not that much bigger than the Copper Box, surely." It fucking
That's what I
is.
thought.
But I think the reason I thought it wasn't much bigger than the Copper Box is because Progress ran there and they've configured it for a smaller venue, right? So
Got ya.
you can do that in a way that, like, I remember when I was there was a significant. So you got like the bowl area of Wembley Arena, and probably about a quarter of the way back there, the black tarp comes down, and then you've got the end, and that's kind of how it works there. So
That makes all
they'll
sense.
configure it in a certain way. They do that a lot for bands as well. They just bring the curtain
Yeah.
across. Mate, ecstatic for
Like
them.
just the optics of RevPro's at Wembley on Saturday and AEW's at Wembley on Sunday.
Yeah.
But all the AEW fans are already in Wembley.
Mm.
They don't even have to look at another part of London. They're there.
Yeah.
Like, it's ambitious, and I think ambition should always be celebrated.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching the aftermath video that Dave Bradshaw and Andy Quilden does afterwards, and they were talking about this, and Andy was like, "We want to break our attendance record," and I think they will. I'm trying to remember what Progress did there. I'm going to look it up now. I was part of that crowd actually for Progress. I think that was
That wasn't. Actually, I can't remember when that was, but wasn't it like proper boom period?
I think it was 2018, 2017,
Yeah,
2018.
that's what I thought.
Do you know what was really funny? What I remember about that show while I was in the queue? I'm pretty sure I remember one was definitely TK Cooper. I'm pretty sure TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo were the two guys outside hyping the crowd up in the queue. But yeah, let's have a look.
I think they got 5,000 people.
It was September 2018. God, that didn't feel like 2 minutes ago. 4,750.
Yeah.
So yeah, now you know what I find really interesting? I'm gonna that was one I didn't even know. I'm gonna read to you.
What main event did?
Main event was Walter versus Tyler Bate. That was great. It had a match beforehand, Eddie Dennis versus Mark Andrews in a TLC match. A TLC match where the tables just did not break whatsoever. It was when I was introduced to Ilya Dragunov against Pete Dunne, which I at the time I just wasn't keen on. But we had in that match we had Maverick Mayhew and Connor Mills, complete with the long ponytails. Aussie Open winning that match. We had a the shall not be named match. Actually, it was no disqualification, but it was between Jimmy Havoc and Paul Robinson. And the Dark Battle Royal. I'm going to read to you some of the names in there. Okay, so it's about 20 odd people. I'm going to read some of the names. The winner, Chuck Mambo, TK Cooper, Chris Ridgway, Danny Jones, David Francisco, Spike Trevay, and a little known guy called the OJMO. That was the Dark show, or the Dark Match Battle Royal. That in itself, you just look at, and Trent Seven was on there. Oh yeah, he retired Doug Williams. I remember that. Oh, what a show that was! How the fuck was that 7 years ago?
And that sounds like a really cool show, but I do believe that RevPro is capable of putting an even better looking card together.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's all contextual because that's all those guys 7 years ago, where some of them were not as good as they are now, but some of them, you got fucking Walter and Tyler Bate on there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aussie Open on there.
Yeah.
I think in 2026, RevPro can put a card together that blows that out of the water. It's just, are the fans still there? Like, I feel like nowadays, Andy said this himself actually on something I listened to not long ago, so probably the Grapple podcast maybe, where they get the same level of crowds now, but they have to work so much harder for it.
Yes. Yeah.
They have to put so much more out there to draw people in. Whereas
Yeah.
before they could just say, we're doing this, the people would come.
Yeah. And I think, yeah.
Yeah, I found the Wembley poster very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Oku's on it, Leon Slater's on it, and Shah's on it, and the like. But Manders was on it,
Yeah.
which is lovely to see, and Rio was on it,
Mm-hmm.
which suggests that her match on Saturday is not a one-off or even the start of a short run, but hopefully the start of like a full 12 months with RevPro.
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
You think like someone like Lizzie Evo, from the moment she made her like kind of RevPro debut in terms of like the Cutthroat Collective Lizzie Evo,
Mm-hmm.
she's been there consistently. So she's someone who's prominent on the scene, and people always talk about Lizzie Evo without her really ever doing anything in RevPro for a few years.
Yeah.
And then once she came in, she stayed in. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping they've got Rio lined up for as many dates as they can get on.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I found it interesting Danny Luna was on there as well, so hopefully
Yeah,
she's
she
going to
was,
be
yeah.
a big focal point as well. Conspicuous
Also
by the
interesting,
absence.
who wasn't on there?
Yeah, so the first ones I noticed not there, Young Guns.
Interesting. I didn't notice Young Guns weren't there. But I noticed that Mercedes Monet was not.
Yes. Yeah, I did notice that as well.
Now, obviously, that doesn't really necessarily mean anything. You've got to think Mercedes will lose the title eventually, because every champion loses their championship eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd imagine, quite rightly, that when she loses the championship, that's the end of her run with RevPro for however long.
Yes.
Maybe she'll come back again one day, but maybe she won't. So if they put her on it, it kind of takes away the jeopardy of all the championship matches she's in between now and then, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Well, if they're advertising her for next August, she's not going to lose in December to Rio or whatever.
Yeah.
But to put somebody on a poster for a show that's in a year's time, especially someone that is not a regular in the company, suggests they're going to become a regular. I would.
Yes, 100%. It does to me. Is that they're basically saying these are the people who will be there, or obviously bearing things like injuries and stuff like that. Much like you said with Mercedes, remember as well, plans could change. So the plan right now, in my mind, would be you stick Mercedes on at Wembley Arena if you can, and you have that big title match. Like you said, just, let's go another fucking year, right? Because let's be honest as well, Mercedes having the belt is like she's not going to be here regularly, so it's not like she's going to be defending it every month anyway. So let's do it try and get her every 2 months. Can you get her every 2 months? 3 months, get those defenses in, and then it gets her onto that.
Like, so what are we in now? We're in September.
Mm-hmm.
So Uprising in December, High Stakes next year, maybe Epic Encounter if it's at the same time as it was this year, Summer Sizzler, anniversary show.
Yeah,
there's your Mercedes dates for the next year. And have her lose it at the anniversary show. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
but
I would say
obviously
so.
Loads of moving parts and loads of stuff that has to be worked out. But it's a super cool position to be in, and what a time to be a wrestler in RevPro. And like, wanting to that having that as your goal for everybody, like. From your Josh James and your David Franciscos, who have never wrestled who have been in RevPro for years and years and years, but have never wrestled a singles match on one of these big shows, to someone like an Archie Cole, who's at the start of his journey, thinking, "Can I get there?"
Mm-hmm.
Someone like a Cameron Kai, who was on last year's anniversary show, left off of this year's anniversary show. Can he get back there for next year? To who's going to carry the belts in? who's going to leave with the belts, who's going to have their moments. Like, it's. I imagine that's the sort of announcement that has got every wrestler in the country licking their lips.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Like, I'm just having a look at now. There are, how many are there? One, two, three, four, five, 7 arenas. So take stadiums out of it. 7 arenas in the whole of the UK bigger than this. So RevPro
Wow.
is going on in the eighth biggest arena. And to put that out there in perspective, it's the two biggest are the AO Arena and Co-op Live in Manchester, which one is 23,000, the other 23,500. The O2, which
I
is
mean, to be so.
20,000.
I mean, did WWE run there?
WWE have run in Wembley, yeah. So I mean, I saw TNA there when TNA were in their like their pomper there. I think it was like 2011, 2012. Like I saw TNA with Hogan and Sting and Kurt Angle in there. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the level of people we're talking here that were selling that out. WWE, they had, if I remember correctly, I don't know if you're aware of it or remember it. There was an hour long match between Shawn Michaels and John Cena. That was at Wembley Arena as well. Um, yeah, they've done shows there over the years. So like we're talking about the biggest names in the game, legends in the game who have been there, and RevPro are adding to that. I think it's really
It's
fucking cool.
absolutely class.
It's cool, and yeah.
Speaking of class and speaking of venues, what did
Oh,
you make of Dorchester Hall?
I loved it, mate. I was absolutely enamored with it the second I walked in. So you walk in, and you just got this big sweeping staircase, and Will Warrener, who was with me, said it's like some Royal Albert Hall shit. Like, yes, Will, it is like some Royal Albert Hall shit, but it looks regal. It has this feeling about it. Feels big league. You then walk up the stairs and you kind of walk around and you see everything just envelop and open in front of you. And I said to you on Saturday, I think, or I've certainly said to others, like it gives me everything I like about all of my favorite RevPro venues all in one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like the size of the venue. It's a nice size venue. There is room to grow there as well, which feels important. I like that you've got the back wall area to have your merch on, and it was not like tough getting in to speak to people at merch
No,
at
no,
any
there was
point.
lots of merch available,
There
like
was lots, yeah, lots of room to
lots of space.
mingle in with people, talk to them, actually get your pictures done, all that sort of stuff without feeling like you're just bumping it, going, are you in the queue for this one or in the queue for this one? So I like that. I loved that there was hot food there. Like that was ace. I got myself some nachos and chili for £6, which not to be sniffed at. Like you've got stuff there. Um, the feeling of the venue, like the venue has aura.
Hmm.
It felt like a lovely thing to look at. It really did, and an interesting sign of what it's like because you obviously they had to have the separate lighting up there as well, so it lit stuff up nicely. Yeah, mate, I loved it. I'm a fan already. I felt it didn't feel like the first show in there in a lot of ways either. I felt immediately
No,
comfortable in there.
it's funny. I walked in with Phoebe, and I just looked at her and was like, "Not sure we belong here, babe. Like, it's a bit posh for us." And then I bumped into Shah walking around it, and I said, "What do you make of this place, mate?" And he was like, "It's nice, a bit posh though, isn't it?" Like, and it's just like, "Yep, there you go." There's the two East London lads looking at it the same way. But I loved the vibe of it. I remember Trent Seven talking to Trent Seven about the 229 a couple of years ago, and he was like, he was kind of praising the 229 of having this really cool vibe to it, really nice atmosphere,
Hmm.
but at the same time also saying that like it's just very limited. Like you can't make a big grand entrance in the 229. You literally just step out of the door and down a couple of steps. It's like
Yeah, I get that.
it was. It took them for a long time when they used to have the house lights on. It felt a little bit kind of clinical in there,
Hmm.
and it was like it's. I can see every single fan in here, as opposed to I'm focusing everything on the ring.
Yeah,
I'll miss the 229 because I've got loads of nice memories there, but I'm very happy to move to Portchester Hall.
yeah,
And it's like, again, just like the 229, loads of free parking nearby. You just got to know where to look. I literally went on Google Maps and did Google Street View, and I just walked up and down the streets on Google Street View, reading the street signs until I found the signs that said free parking. I was like, boom, there we go. We're going to park on that street. And
yeah,
then drove there, parked outside someone's house effortlessly. And then you're just walking through one of the most privileged parts of London. Like, this
yeah,
is very, very nice. Saying to Phoebe, like, you see that house over there? I reckon that house is worth about the same amount as every house on our street added together. You see that car there? That car's worth more than our house. But like, it's wrestling is quite a, like, we have this image of it being sort of like a working class thing, and it being dirty, grimy venues with sticky floors and stuff like that. And this was showing you that wrestling can be the opposite of that. Wrestling can be in a beautiful building, in a beautiful part of the country. Like, it was refreshing.
I love a venue that has character and has something about it, right? And that's what drew me to the 229. It wasn't anything other than I liked how the venue looked on RevProOnDemand.com. Best £7 odd in the game. But this one as well just had that feeling of this is big. Like you said, it just felt big time. It feels good. It feels like it's the right way where people are watching for the first time going, wow, this is a fancy place that they're in. Because look, I stick on Triller TV sometimes on Fight Plus, and I see some of the social clubs in America that these events go on. Oh fuck, they are something. So this is a very, very nice venue, mate. But
it looked good on RevPro on Demand as well. I watched a little clip of it yesterday, watched just a few bits, and was like, I just wanted to see what the hard cam looked like, because it looked like, from where it was, it looked like it was going to take in a nice view, and I really liked it. But I also like the fact that, like, from there, this weekend I'm in the Gordon Craig Theatre, and then I'm up to Sheffield Network, and there's 3 venues there that are so different from each other.
Yeah.
The Gordon Craig Theatre is a really good wrestling venue, but the place has no character or soul to it. It's just a big open space that's really practical for wrestling, and the wrestling looks class in there. Like, it's perfect, but it doesn't have anything to it. Whereas like Portchester Hall with like the beautiful ceiling and stuff like that, and then Sheffield Network where it's like this tiny intimate club, like 2 completely different experiences, but I love them both.
Yeah, that's it. And I like that we've got a mixture for those of us who do go to a few different venues as well. Like, everything that I love about a club, I get at the 1865, right? Those kind of grimy club venues. And the 229 felt like somewhere in between of these things. Like, the one thing I will miss is like a group of us, we all used to get like stand right next to the ring, just chat, and like no one would walk through or anything. Like, it was just a nice little area before and at the end to kind of chat. And you don't have that same feeling of just being able to do that. But I got a selfie as I waited at the end of the night, and I just saw how big this place looked. Right, it just I loved it. I'm looking forward to many a show in there and trying different bits around to see what the view is like in different areas, different seating areas, and yeah. So Dave, you know what? Let's spend about.
I'm looking at it. I will more than happily like stand in Portchester. Like, the standing spots looked great. Like, it's big, but it's not. It doesn't lose any of its intimacy for being big.
Yeah,
everything still feels close. It's just there's more seating capacity for where the stage is and where at the back, but the sides are still very intimate.
Yeah. I hope people.
So if you want that intimacy, like getting a seat on the side is perfect for you.
Yeah, I heard people refer to it as a mini York Hall, and I
very much see that.
Yeah.
It is. There's lots of similarities, and that's a great compliment. Because York Hall is like, I always think of it as being sort of like the home of RevPro.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very much what I liked about York Hall without actually being at York Hall, respectfully.
Mm.
So let's take half an hour then, Dave. Let's talk about the card we got, because you know what? Really fun card. Opened up with a banger of a tag match with Callum Newman and JJ Gale defeating CPF. Really had a lot of fun with this match. I thought clever match to start the show with. CPF are a team that are gonna just draw people in no matter what, right? Like they've got this organic way they seem to just resonate with people. People love them. People want to see them do well. They're nice lads. They can do a lot of cool stuff. JJ Gale is again someone who has that same kind of vibe about him. Like people just love JJ. He is the heart and soul of Revolution Pro, and people really gravitate to him. And Callum
Looks
has,
bigger and bigger every time I see him.
yeah, he does. He does. Same with Callum Newman, because Callum
Yeah,
Newman,
Callum's fucking huge these
he's
days,
a
isn't he?
fucking beast. Like he is looking like really big. But you know what? He does not lose one bit of that speed. Like Callum Newman,
Like
watching him live,
when he hit the ropes,
something to behold.
just you can see it. It's like he's flexing. It's like early on, give me a chance to run the ropes and just hear the gasp of anyone who's never seen Callum Newman live before. And you could literally hear it, like, oh, like it was like when Saiki Yoshioka did it, but he's half Callum's size,
Yeah,
so it doesn't like when Callum does it, like the ropes look like they're gonna snap.
yeah, yeah. It was so good. I really liked throughout the match the story it was being told and the aggression we got from Callum. I wasn't quite so I don't follow New Japan as regularly as most people do. So I imagine for people that do, it wasn't a shock. It was a shock to me just how good a little dickhead Callum Newman was, right? And I don't mean to be derivative when I say this, but he did remind me of a mini Osprey, right? I know that can be a thing which is a blessing and a curse sometimes because he is his own man, but he just got
But
that
specifically in that kind of likable twat kind
yeah,
of role, like it was very Osprey-esque.
yeah,
He doesn't really, he doesn't portray like that in Japan. He's very much like a baby face. United Empire have kind of become a babyface unit, and he's not like he's not like white meat, but he's an underdog in every match that he has.
yeah.
But he's also had a series of like high-profile wins, so he's kind of like that underdog that people are starting to believe in. I was watching it thinking to myself, could Callum Newman be an undisputed British heavyweight champion at some point in the near future?
We were saying the same thing.
Like, in terms of a big, high-profile name in another country, doing the old Zack Sabre Jr. undisputed British heavyweight champion one, doing the Will Ospreay, doing the Mercedes Moné, the big name who's not here week in, week out, but when they come, they draw, and you're guaranteed a really high caliber of match. And I was watching it thinking, is Callum ready for that in terms of can he pull those fans in? And it was a lot more. The whole thing was a lot more than I thought it would be. I thought it was just a nice way to get Callum on the card while he was in the country, in like a nice. There's no such thing as an exhibition match, but a match that would kind of just stand on its own two legs, extend a bit of Sons of Southampton storyline.
And that's why I thought
the Maverick Mayhew Callum Newman match. I think they sold that beautifully.
I do as well. I thought this was designed to get the Sons of Southampton drama over more by having Callum there rather than the other way around.
My takeaway from it was JJ stopped being a dick to Francisco. Like, Francisco's just trying to help and be a mate, and you're kind of putting him down at every opportunity. And it's kind of like, I like that, because It's
JJ feels
every
justified.
villain needs to have that part of their story where you feel sorry for him, right?
Yeah, I totally see shades of, I've said this before, MJF and Adam Cole. Not in the
Yep.
comedy side, which obviously David can definitely get into the comedy side where need be, but in the whole, this is my friend and you are letting me down, like you've let me down, you've made a fool of me, and that's what it will be that will turn David Francisco. And I think he loses a lot of the comedy when he does that. I think he goes properly onto a more evil side. So interesting to see that. What you said there about Callum Newman, undisputed British heavyweight champion, we were discussing the same thing and said, wouldn't this be a great competitor for Shah Samuels, his first title defense? So actually, that's where we thought we were going here. Um, so to see us pivot, and you could kind of see throughout the match what we were doing here. By the way, Callum had a really good couple of near falls where even though you kind of thought Callum and JJ would go over because big name there. He really drew you in and made you believe
Mm-hmm.
that he was gonna lose. So some tremendous work there. I do like, and I hope the storyline with Maverick Mayhew kind of pays off because we had a very similar thing with Connor Mills and Maverick Mayhew, right? And it did feel like a bit of a retread in some ways that we were
Mm-hmm.
going back to the well. So I hope that whatever comes out of this, we then see something following it that gives us
It's
something
funny
from
you
there.
say that because I interviewed Mav after the show.
Mm,
So depending on, that's probably going to come out tomorrow, or so what? This will come out on Tuesday.
yes.
So in that case, if this is coming out on Tuesday, I'll post the interview on Wednesday. Just 'cause I don't like to have too much content come out on the same day, so I don't get a chance to share it and give it a bit of love. So yeah, on Wednesday, and we talked about that match with Mills, and we talked about
Nice.
just that kind of the lack of respect for Maverick Mayhew in RevPro from not from fans, but from other wrestlers,
Yeah.
which you don't see very often, right? Like people are normally built up, but like Mav gets kind of pushed down a little bit,
Yeah.
and
He does.
yeah, like I'm kind of the better I get to know the wrestlers, the braver I'm getting with the questions that I ask them, knowing that I'm not gonna offend anybody or upset anybody, or like I can just building confidence, I suppose. But yeah, it's interesting what he has to say. So for anybody,
So
check
sure
that out.
look forward to
on
that.
Wednesday night. But yeah, it was quite a. Have we got times for this card on how long the matches were?
That was, I think, about 14 minutes, that match.
Yeah, so
14 minutes,
the
9
first
seconds.
two matches took up the first hour of the show. When you factor in entrances, exits, post-match comments for the second match, the post-match beatdown. But if you watch the RevPro on demand, I had to fast forward to an hour into the show to see the end of the Trent Seven and the beatdown with TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo.
Wow.
So that I felt like that was a changing of the format a little bit.
Yeah, because I think we got
going in quite heavy. I'm not really building to a poignant comment because I know some people won't like that, and some people will like that, and it's just a little bit kind of divisive. But for me, it's sometimes I feel like an opening match can be too short. Sometimes I feel like an opening match can be too long. I always think it's contextual. I felt like this match lasted a nice amount of time for what they were telling. And then our second match was Trent and Robbie.
Yep.
Which was that even longer?
That was 16 minutes, 45 seconds.
But then I really enjoyed that match because I really enjoyed how it grew.
Yeah, same.
I liked the pacing of it. And it's completely subjective, isn't it? It's completely subjective. Somebody else could say, I think they could have cut 5 minutes out in the middle of this match. And then somebody else might turn around and say, no, I thought it was perfect. Like, for me, I've been quite critical of long matches at times throughout the year. I feel like this was really nicely done, especially because the next match with the Bryants and the Machine was it the shortest match on the card?
No, it wasn't. It was the
Was it not?
second shortest match on the card.
What was shortest?
That was Liam Slater and Nino Bryant.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
really, how long did those two go in then? Were they under 10 minutes?
What Nino and Liam? They were 8.5 minutes.
And the Machine and the Bryants?
10 minutes.
So I quite
just
like
under
that.
11. Yeah.
I know you were only talking about 4 minutes, but if you look at Trent and Robbie went twice as long as Nino and Liam. That's a huge amount of difference.
Mm-hmm.
I like variety. I like not knowing how long a match is going to last before it starts.
100%, yeah.
I'd quite like it if at times RevPro could put in the odd match which only goes 5 or 6 minutes. And it not be because it was a squash, but it be because somebody just caught somebody with a, if someone's got a knockout move and you hit that knockout move kind of out of nowhere early on, game over.
Yeah.
If someone's got a knockout submission hold, you lock them in it early on, game over. I don't believe that people are buried because they lost in a short match.
It's all about intent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, the classic is you go back to Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio,
SummerSlam
which is just this
2002.
insanely good but shorter match. But you can also look at matches like Brody Lee and Cody Rhodes from AEW, which obviously was part of a longer story. But I've got no problem with somebody, someone like a Luke Jacobs. If Luke hits that like screwdriver, no one's getting up from that.
No.
If Ricky hits a Kishi driver, he's kind of done it to a point now where he has to hit a couple to get a pin over somebody significant.
Yeah.
But if he hits a couple, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like the variety, and I like the fact that we've got a match at 14 minutes, a match at 16 minutes, a match at 8 minutes, a match at 10 minutes.
I'm with you. Yeah. You need to have that variety.
For Trent versus the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what it means for who Trent's partnered with. Even if maybe he's not partnered with anyone.
Yeah, so
maybe he just needs to take them both out in singles matches, but it be like he gets Mambo first, and he beats Mambo and puts Mambo on the shelf for a couple of weeks, and then, or if someone just comes to settle the score in terms of just someone like a JJ Gao coming to just an all-round good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to get Mambo away from ringside when he's wrestling TK, so it can be a fair one-on-one. Just something like that. Maybe it's not building to any of the things we speculated with a tag partner.
Yeah, and look, I imagine as well the things with tag partner. So I imagine this story's got to pivot, right? Because, and as we talk about this with RevPro, that it's, to me, it isn't a coincidence that we're building to this at the biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
And that there are a lot more potential. When I say there's a lot more options in town, I mean this from a fan perspective that doesn't have to deal with politics and all the actual logistics that makes this. But from the appearances, there's a lot more options in town. It looks like Speedball was always being part of AEW's fan event that they were doing, and he was never planned to come over anyway. Again, I don't know how far in advance Andy knew about, obviously, Trent no longer being able to work the show either, because maybe Speedball was meant to be there and that's changed because of Trent and other things. So what I'm saying is there's all of these things that we can speculate on what it could be. However, you've got to imagine that all of those options that were on the table are now potentially not on the table anymore, and that we have to find a pivot and a storyline sense to make this work. So I'll be interested to see what happens here, because clearly they're not done with this. They are moving forward with it. Do we move on to a Trent versus them in singles? Do we move on to try and find a tag team partner? I'm intrigued to find out. I thought maybe we were getting a graphic for Raw Deal. I thought that's what was happening, but
I still think we
nothing this
will.
yet. Do you? Okay, cool.
I wonder, maybe they put 2 graphics out at the same time. Trent versus TK at Raw Deal, Trent versus Chuck at Sheffield. This weekend, Trent
Yeah.
7, like, pays his receipts.
Yeah.
Like, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I enjoyed everything about it. There was a lot of negativity around the machine and the anniversary show and the crew segment, and I think we tried to handle it as delicately as we could, but
Of
neither
course,
of us
yeah.
thought it was hugely successful.
No, but yeah.
When TK and Chuck talk, like, I'm completely like on edge listening to everything they say.
Oh,
like
they're great.
They've got this heel dynamic down as a team.
Yeah.
Flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And the match with the Bryant brothers worked perfectly.
Yeah.
It's almost like I was watching it thinking this is what it should have been at the anniversary show.
Yeah, this was, yeah.
A couple of lads come out and get their arse kicked, but obviously for the casual fan in the crowd, the Bryant's coming out to wrestle Sunshine Machine doesn't have the same reaction as Leo Rush and Action Andre.
Of course, yeah, and that's
But
the
problem
difference.
with them is that you know, they don't want to. Not that they don't want to lose, but they don't want the imported team to look foolish by coming out and getting their asses handed to them by a couple of people that an AEW fan's going to be unfamiliar with. So
it was very telling. I know we're only into the second match of this, but it's very telling that in one match they walked away because they didn't want to give people the sunshine anymore. And in one match, and the difference in these matches by length was 2 minutes. That was it. But in another match, they wrestle near enough the same amount of time and wrestle to a victory. So whether or not they try and play it off as they felt they could be bested or something like that, I don't know. But it was just very very apt that they kind of had to make what appears to be making some exceptions for the machine that is wrestling politics. Also, a massive shout out to Robbie X for the new gear. That looks fucking sick on his entrance.
I thought it looked really cool as well.
Yeah, it looked really, really cool. Loved it.
I like people mixing it up. Especially when, you know, like that very much feels like it's Mexican inspired.
100%, yeah.
It celebrates that, you know, he's got his War Dog stuff from Japan. Now he's got something that links to CMLL.
And he's getting to reinvest in himself.
To Kanji and Lizievo, and we'll talk about the 2 women's matches together.
Absolutely,
mate. It links all to the Cutthroat Collective.
Yeah.
So if we look at the second half, what did we open the second half?
We opened strongly with this one. Connor Mills and Jay Joshua versus Lycos Jim. I loved this match.
Oh yeah, this was so really
good,
interesting, wasn't it? Because also that's 2 matches on the card that bled into one another.
Yeah.
So Trent and Robbie ends with the machine coming out and attacking Trent, and then their match starts with the Bryant brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Lycos and Mills and Joshua, I thought was a really good match. Really, really enjoyed it. Just a really, really good use of 2 great tag teams, a great match, but also then some curiosity with what happened next, because as Lycos is leaving and really berating Lycos 2, which I'm told is very on point with what they're doing in Progress as well, Liam Slater came out, and I liked the interaction between Liam and Lycos 2.
Mm.
And then Liam takes to the ring, and we have Liam versus Nino. And Liam said to me when I interviewed him that if we pay attention, we'll see who he's got his eye on. And then he said in his promo before the show that he was coming down to wrestle Nino, but also coming down to watch somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, who on the card is he watching? and it's hiding there in plain sight the whole time because Lycos 2 bloody like runs training sessions in PPW and is like there, he's literally works in the same gym as Liam Slater every day. Like he's part of that. He's part of that kind of like Yorkshire scene that kind of all emanates from. If you follow Liam or if you follow PPW on socials, you'll see that all of the wrestlers post their stuff from the same place. It's all that kind of like it's their version, I suppose, of the London School of Wrestling. It's their training complex. It's got a very signature look. It's very Liam Slater. Very, very well produced and put together. Could Lycos 2 be the fourth man to Liam Slater's group? It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
If Lycos and Lycos 2 split up in Progress, do they need to split up everywhere else?
I thought that was quite an interesting wrinkle. So here's the sort of things that kind of count this. First of all, the match was great. Like the chemistry that these guys, because look, Mills and Lycos wrestle a lot anyway. Jay Joshua, I don't know how much work he's done with the other two guys. Imagine the processes, like, but yeah, that's what I mean. And Lycos 2 is
flawless.
Yeah, and God, was it? I can't remember where I get the guy's name. Lycos 2 had a fucking killer match with, I think it was El Hioda Dr. Wagner Jr. 2 or something like that for Progress a couple of years ago now, and that was fucking incredible as well. Like, so, and I noticed, not that I've ever seen he was a bad worker, because not at all, but I've noticed even an improvement in Lycos as well. Like, this, again, this heel persona that he seems to be portraying, it's just added bits. I said this with Robbie, right? With Robbie, there's just a bit of extra snap, a bit of extra violence that comes with it, and that really works for him. The thing that we were saying when we were watching, we were like, wouldn't you just love to see Lycos versus Mills? Wouldn't you just love to see Lycos 2 versus Jay Joshua?
Yeah.
Why not run this mini program? But we were just expecting Lycos Gym to be a one and done again. So again, wasn't expecting this little bit towards the end. We're going, this is a curiosity here, and we often talk about how what they're doing in Camden doesn't always leak over to what they're doing in RevPro, to what they're doing in Chaos and all that. Like, I think I said before, one week I saw Lucia Lee trying to battle the Cutthroat Collective, and in another location I saw her being the dickhead to underdog babyface Sapphire Reed. Like, you have to suspend. They are multiverses we go to. So it's a curiosity in itself that this is going everywhere. So I'm really intrigued to see whether that's just to keep up kayfabe of their characters, or whether that's going to lead to something else in RevPro. And
it's enough to intrigue, isn't it? Without any of it being so obvious that you're like, well, that's clearly what they're going to do now. They're going to run this program. It's just, was that enough?
Yeah, from what I understand,
enough to mean that that's going to happen, or was I reading too much into it? And I like second guessing.
And is this the two breadcrumbs? Because one trail you can go down, one trail you're not sure if you can go down, right? One of the things that I thought of at the end of the match was like, does Lycos 2 become its own boy now?
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, and I could be getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read this in an interview, that the reason Lycos 2 became Lycos 2 was because Lycos 1 ended up hanging up his boots and saw a promising wrestler that he handed the gimmick over to hang his hat on and say, here you go, this will help get you over. I could be wrong with that. That's what I read. So is this now under the tutelage of Liam Slater? Lycos 2 can become his own man now. Like, so the mask goes.
I'd love to see the mask go at some point.
Yeah.
And just see. It would be a shame, because it would be a shame to. I've always enjoyed Lycos Gym. But changing wrestling's good. Like, especially when it's cleverly thought out and it's not rushed and it's not knee jerk. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd be game for that.
One of the things that we
Mate, how
talk.
on that note of under the tutelage of Liam Slater, the other week we got asked on the Q&A, did Cameron Kai maximise his minutes? So did he maximise his minutes in Crystal Palace? And I said probably not, but that's to be expected given where he is in his career. Like, knowing how much facial expression to draw in when you're outside the ring, when no one should be watching you, but some of us will be. That's a hard thing to gauge. Somebody asked me this week, did Cameron Kai maximise his minutes this week? Hell yes, he did.
Yeah.
Like, that knee looked brutal. And when he was on the stage and Liam's giving it the big one like this, and Cam's just standing behind him like a fucking tank. Like just looked class. And I don't remember the last time I looked at Cameron Kai and was like, yes, you're the man.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is just what he needs.
Yeah,
like,
same.
Make him. He doesn't have to. I don't think, because Phoebe was struggling a little bit with the dynamics of this, because she was like, I like Liam Slater. He's really funny. I like his character. Like because she doesn't really understand. Like, I like his character. She just likes him. She thinks he is, even though she understands wrestling, and she understands what's real and what's not. But she still gets way lost in it because she's not.
Yeah.
But she's like, so are Liam and Cameron bad guys now? I was like, well, do you think they're bad guys? And she was like, well, they were really mean to Nino. And I was like, yeah, they were. But then Nino's got something that they want. You know, it could have been a lot worse. Like, is Leon Slater a bad guy? And she's like, no, Leon's a good guy. And I said, well, Leon's their mate. So I like that shades of grey, but a ruthless streak, a toughness, a heelness, even if it's not full-blown heeled, Cameron Kai, perfect for him. Because I think it's far easier to get boos than it is cheers.
Yeah, 100%.
And his wrestling style is vicious.
Yeah.
He's not a 450 splash, jump up and kick up and pose to the crowd guy, which gets you, you know, like, it seems harsh to say it because anyone who can do a 450 is bloody impressive. But it is like, it's a bit like a cheap pop, isn't it? Like,
yeah, like there are so many.
No, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'll get a standing ovation. If I do X, Y, and Z, I'll get this is awesome chance. Like,
yeah, people
it's
like
harder with
seeing
Cam's style because he's got that hard hitting sort of Kenny Omega style.
Yeah,
but that works so much better with the dickhead kind of heel side because, I mean, that's how Kenny Omega got over, right?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I loved everything about this match. Well, I said there was one bit I didn't like, and it's a very minor detail. I'm going to see how it plays out. I didn't like how whiny Nino seemed at the end of the match, right? And I understand that he was cheated, and I just didn't like how whiny he seemed.
Fair play. To be honest, I was so eyes on Cameron that I didn't really pay attention to Nino and Xander and Leland who were in the ring.
Nino was directly opposite my eye line. And yeah, he just kept saying he cheated. It just seemed a bit whiny. And I was like, okay, I mean, but this could be where they're playing up youthful inexperience and all of that sort of stuff. Liam has really taught him a hard lesson that it doesn't matter what is fair, it only matters what happens when the bell is rung and the match is over, which then played into that promo when he went, yeah, I did cheat. So, you know what, there is a bit of that to it as well that adds that extra gravitas.
Do you think we get Cameron versus Nino this weekend?
I think so.
Or do you think it's going to be drawn out longer?
I think it gets added this weekend because it very much felt like we were adding matches for this weekend. This show feels like the.
Do you think Cameron could beat Nino?
No. I think Nino finds a way.
He could? but you don't think he will, or do you not think it's really viable for him to?
I think he's had a better opportunity to be able to do it in terms of how he'll be perceived than he has at any point over the last 6 months. So if you're going to do it, if at any point in the last 6 months to now you're going to do it, now is the time. But I still don't think they will, and I still don't think I would. I would still have something where the coach is giving him like you didn't get the job done, but you fucking took it. Like give him that kind of performance.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think he could. That doesn't mean I think he will. I just feel like they could do that. I can't work out if I need more time to actually think if I think it's a good idea or not. Which is nice, again, because you're making, like RevPro is making me think and making me invest and making me mark out over it.
Yeah, and I think
I know I'll be watching the match biting every near fall if it happens, thinking, can I win this? Can I win this? Oh, Nino's going to win it. Nino's going to win it.
It also feels like the competitors that we lined up are more on the heel side than the babyface side.
So when I first started doing heroes and villains, which is like my Friday evening kind of bit of silliness, like who's been the biggest dickhead this week, who's been the biggest hero this week, right? So I started that at the start of last year, and I used to find it really difficult because RevPro was so babyface heavy that often there was no dickhead, there was no heel, there was no villain. Now it's kind of fun because I'm like, oh, the Machine, they're villains. Oh, Liam Slater was a bit of a villain this week. Cutthroat Collective, got to talk about them. Like, and then you're like, what about Luke Jacobs for being so kind of like arrogant and dismissive of Shah? And what about Callum Newman for being such a prick to Maverick Mayhew? Like, there's loads of. It's way more 50-50, which is kind of how I feel like it should be.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all of that, mate.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the Shah, Harry, Young Gun stuff?
Intrigued. So this was one of the hardest matches to call going into it, and I like that as well. I've been having debates.
I couldn't really get my head around why it was booked. Like,
yeah, same.
It's an interesting match. There must be for a reason. And to be fair, I should have got to the fact that they're probably going to have either Ethan or Luke challenge Shah. But it was more like I don't like to overthink it. I like to let it float around my head without me actually kind of spoiling it for myself. But it's one of those graphics where you look at it and think, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very interesting one. I didn't, in my mind, when I was thinking of all the things that could come out of this, I was kind of, again, are they positioning Shah against top guys again? Like, because you want people to be seen as top guys, you put them around top guys, right? And we've seen that with Shah. He's again been in the orbit of top guys. Ethan and Luke are top guys, but in my mind, it made no sense for Shah to lose. It made no sense for Ethan and Luke to lose, right? Because you don't have your tag guys. And I kind of go, well, Shah is the big champ here. But Luke is also
going to lose here, right?
Yeah, Luke has also always been that champion. And then I was like, well, Harry's here to take the pin, which didn't happen. What I really loved about it, first of all, I just loved how vicious the Young Guns were.
Mate, it was humorously vicious as well, right? All the chants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like to the point where when Ethan was doing merch, he was very much doing merch like nice guy Ethan Allen. And me and Phoebe walked around and I had a quick word with him and he was like, can I get a fist pump off Phoebe? And she just mugged him off. Like she just literally just looked at him and went, and I went, sorry, mate. She thinks you're a bit mean. He was like, what? I said, yeah, she thinks you and Luke are a bit mean, and she's a big Shah fan, and you're probably going to try and hit Shah really hard later. And he was like, well, I'll try and hit hard Shah, but I'll tell you what, Harry's fucking getting it.
Yeah,
Like, and it was just that Ethan was like literally like salivating at the thought of Harry walking into the ring and being like, "We are gonna, this boy's getting whipped."
Mate, it was
Like,
funny, right? So I said to Will Warner, right, I've said this before, I like a chant, but I find it hard to get a chant off the ground, right? So before the match started, I said to Will, I was like, Will, the chant is Harry, Harry, Harry's gonna die.
mate,
And
honestly, when you boys started it, I was like, "Yeah, let's cheer Harry," and then when you finished it, I was like, "Oh no, that's hard.
and
Harry's gonna die."
so that was funny, right? Because as we started chatting it, Ethan looks at me like he's directly in my eye line, and I'm doing the Harry, Harry, and he's giving me this stare, and then I do the Harry's gonna die. It took everything that lad had not to just piss
Yeah,
himself
yeah, yeah.
laughing.
You could see it broke him a little bit.
And we got the same with Luke. Like Luke just walked past, he just went easy, and then we said that, and he was like having a laugh as well. Like it just the match had a great vibe, and not because I think because we were all part of the joke, right? But
Yeah,
also Harry did such great work. It was
he's really flourished in this role. I think
he has, and you know what, right? So this
from the
match was
first week to now, there's so much growth.
there is what I found interesting about how his work in this match was, right? So when he was working before, he was just this young upstart, like cruiserweight hopeful. Like you see them in companies, they just bring a cruiserweight in, he'll do something, but ultimately he's there to get beaten, right? He's the true underdog. He aligns with Shah. He kind of pares back that style a little bit because he's now even more. He's the Mikey Whipwreck of RevPro, right? He is there to have gain all the sympathy and to get his ass handed to him. And now that we've moved from the Shah and Harry comedy storyline, we've moved into the big leagues now, right? We've moved into the main title picture, up against a serious team like Young Guns. And he really did oversell his reactions almost in a comedic way. But because of the seriousness from Shah, because of the I don't quite. It's just the northern cockiness of Young Guns, where they're not really bad guys, they're not really good guys. They are shade of grey guys who like a bit of banter, take the piss, but when they need to, and that's what they were. So his overacting in a comedy sense actually just made the gravitas of what was going to happen feel that much bigger. I think it was great. I think the fact that he got took out and that led to Shah getting pinned
Yeah,
actually gave them a good out, and it
yeah,
didn't
'cause it
feel like a
effectively
cop
became
out.
a handicap match. Didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't feel like a cop out ending either. That was the most important thing to me. This match going into
No,
it felt like it was
and
going
I'll
to be a
tell you
cop
what,
out.
like, are you coming to Raw Deal on Saturday?
No, I'm not, mate. I'm going to Chaos on Saturday.
Oh, is it Danny Luna versus Rain Leverkusen?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
That's coming back really quickly.
yeah,
Um, Luke Jacobs versus Shah Samuels for the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship feels like a big match for a big show. But effectively, I think of like the Stevenage shows as being like it's like Saturday night main event on the current
yeah.
WWE like schedule. It normally has something big because it could draw a lot of people into that venue. But at the same time, you're not going to throw everything into it because a lot of those fans won't be at other RevPro shows, so you don't want to pay off too much stuff because they won't know necessarily the story or whatever. It's a crowd that has quite little crossover with the other venues, apart from those fans that kind of go everywhere. So this really reminds me of how they did Gabe Kidd versus Oku from I want to say British J Cup 2023. So you've got a big title match in effectively a big venue, lots of fans. You're coming to watch a big contest, and I feel like this is as big a match as we could have hoped for, really, for Raw Deal. You think like last year's Stevenage shows, the main events were things like Zazaya versus Oku, when nobody knew who Zazaya was. He was just this Spanish rookie who had just managed to pin Michael Oku, who was getting a rematch. So this feels like a really, really good one for me. I'm really looking forward to that. We need to talk about the two women's matches and everything that went down in that main event, which I am very, very excited for where it's going, and also feeling quite smug because it's almost exactly as I called it when I said what I would do personally for the first Portchester Hall show, sticking the women in the main event to lead to a big Cutthroat Collective angle. Like, that just feels like the best thing for me. I think the biggest question is, did you see Lizzie Evo beating Kanji?
No, I didn't. I thought that was
Like,
actually really cool.
yeah, I really liked it. And do you know what I think it was my favourite match on the card.
Mm.
But what I really like about this card is every match felt really different. Stylistically felt
100%.
different. Stakes felt different. It just felt like a really good, complete show. What I liked was Kanji was quite dominant. It felt a little bit like watching, you're going to hate me saying this, it felt a little bit like watching a Manchester United performance from a few years ago when they would be quite dominant. This is before they were so easy to beat and finish below West Ham in the league, by the way. But they'd be quite dominant but not get the goal. So they'd have loads of possession, but not get the goal. They'd have loads of corners, but not get the goal. And then they'd get done 1-0 at the other end. And United fans would be like, what is this? Like, we're toothless. And Kanji's not toothless at all. But she was in control of this match for really, really long stretches of it. And then Lizzie got her. She literally just got her with a knockout shot at the end. And I really liked that. I don't remember the last RevPro match I watched where somebody got beaten so much, but won through just one, like the one lucky punch, like the one knockout. Really liked that. Skewed what I thought was going to happen. Now curious to see, is Lizzie going to be the first Cutthroat Collective member to, like, the next one to get an opportunity? Is she going to be built up to get an opportunity at Mercedes? Or is she going to be the first one to get done by Alex Windsor? Because that was a massive shock to me as well. I was not expecting Windsor at the end when the Cutthroat Collective needed someone to come and save the day and kick their ass. Just so much going on, mate. That felt like a real hot women's division. Like, loads of top quality talent. Rio reminding us why she's awesome. Emerson Jane just doing Emerson Jane things, which is just impressing me week after week after week. Kanji, who is like the number one girl in that division, coming out as the biggest loser really from Portchester Hall, because like Emerson and Rio had like their embrace at the end of the match to be like, look at us, we just headlined the show and we did really, really well together. Well done, Rio, for winning. Kanji didn't get anything like that. And then you've got Sapphire Reed looking like the leader of the Cutthroat Collective, telling them to get them. And Nina, Lizzie, and Mercedes just looking like absolute badasses.
Yeah, so first of all, your analogy, cunt. Secondly, I thought this was really good. So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a bad choice for match of the night. I think it speaks to the strength of the card. That maybe is my third or fourth best match of the night, right?
Yeah,
and again, that means there is such a strong card, and like those four matches I'm thinking of are ones where you could make, again, great arguments. And for me, the match of the night was the other women's match, right? So isn't that a wonderful thing that not only we get multiple women's matches still, that between the two of us on a strong card, we've picked two women's matches between us as being the best matches.
Yeah, because for me, it's like Emerson and Rio was the better match than Lizzie and Kanji, but the Lizzie and Kanji match felt like the more original match, and therefore for me the more interesting match.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Yeah,
two awesome compliments.
Yeah, and look, you could have people go, oh, well, these two male podcast hosts are just being they're picking a token match. No, like there is nothing on this show gets by without merit. Like they are two of the best women's. Sorry, I just caught myself in my own trap. Two of the best wrestling matches I've seen in a long while as well. Like they're all there on merit. I loved how they tied in with each other. I did love the ending of Kanji versus Lizzie. I
Yeah.
feel because I was chatting with Will as we do on the way back, and he's very black and white sometimes in his thinking, right, with wrestling. It's like, well, this person's going for that, so why did they lose, right? But that's because she's presented in such a dominant, Kanji I'm talking about, is presented in such dominant fashion, right? She beats everyone, so it does rock you a little bit when she loses. So to have her lose and kind of take that step back, because if we still envisage that she going to be the person that eventually takes the title from Mercedes? That's, again, currently my working theory, but I have some thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, me too now.
But if that is where we're going with this, she has been such the dominant leader of that division for so long that it does feel a bit like, oh, this has happened. We go on to the main event. I thought it was a fantastic main event. Like I knew these women would deliver, and I knew when the
How long
graphic
was this
dropped,
one, mate?
the main event was about 25 minutes, mate.
Was it really?
Yeah, it would
Didn't feel it.
23 and a half. So yeah, it was. Look, you look at that, right, and it was almost as long as the two tag matches combined, right? It
Mm.
was the same amount of time as Lizzie Evo and Kanji and the Machine versus Flying Bryant brothers, right? We're talking about a good portion of the show here on this one match. Like you said, didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like there was any dull spots in this. I I was having a thing, right? Because I loved watching these women, right? And I feel like I almost managed to will something into existence in this match because I kind of thought, where are we going here, right? So part of the sometimes the bad side of these venues is when you are waiting outside the venue to get in, not even massively early, you see people come into the venue. Okay, I didn't see Windsor come in, but I definitely saw the rest of the Cutthroat Collective come in. Okay, so you kind of know, you get to the end and go, right, well, this must be where the Cutthroat Collective come in, right? So you know something's coming. So sometimes it helps build up your expectations. You know, I'm gonna know it's coming somewhere, but where's it coming? Um, and sometimes it can get, well, I know it's coming, so I'm waiting for, I'm expecting it. I was glad this match was allowed to happen, but the thing that I willed into existence in my own mind was I was thinking about this and thinking these two are like got such good chemistry against each other. I would like to see like a best of series between the two of them. And in my head, I was having to think, how could we even get there? What does that even look like to get there? And the first thing that I thought of, what happens if they just both punch each other so hard at the same time? One of them happens to fall down, the other one just falls on top of them, like a real like boxing punch out. And it actually did a spot like that in this match. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like this match just had everything I could have wanted from it. And like even in my head of all these things, I'm going, could we get here? Could we get there? Could we do the next thing? Um, I just loved it. I adored this match. I think Emerson Jane is like she is really just coming into her own in RevPro. Like she is someone that I've been aware of for so long now, and someone I've seen in other promotions. I'm like, I want her in RevPro. Like I was excited when she came out at it was high stakes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it high stakes? Yes. So I was like, great. Hopefully this isn't a one off. Like she was given that big spot there in the match. So all of that kind of, and I think she is the person making the most of her opportunities out of a company that is making the most of their opportunities. She is
Mm.
standing head and shoulders, and I think with the way that she's gathering crowd reaction, I don't think Kanji being the one to take the title is the foregone conclusion. It felt like even a month ago. And that is not to say that that won't be the route that they go and shouldn't be the route they go, but to really talk about how Emerson has like garnered this support. I was chatting with Marty today over WhatsApp, and he used the perfect analogy for me of who Emerson is like the female equivalent to. She's the female equivalent of Jay Joshua that's come in mid-year ish and just slowly just come in match after match after match, has connected with people and showed why she has got this reputation that's been garnered and getting a real connection with people.
I think
I
it's a really good analogy.
I do as well.
Um,
And look, I could have
so
stolen it for myself.
are you split now between possibly Kanji being the next champion and Emerson being the next champion?
I think I don't necessarily think I'm split going one like it
Or
could
just
in the sense. I
options?
just think there's options, and I think with Rio also now appearing to be here for a year as well, I think it looked like there was one route there. Now,
Yes.
based on the Crystal Palace post Rev promos and the Mercedes's chat with Kanji about where she should be looking as far as her title is concerned, I still think that's where we get to. But I think we could, if they decided to switch out to Emerson or Rio, I wouldn't
Or
be
if they
surprised.
needed to, right?
Yeah,
Touch wood,
exactly.
it doesn't happen. But
But thing,
God
yeah,
forbid something happens to Kanji and she gets hurt or something, and you're like, oh shit, that was the plan.
yeah,
Leon Cage, right?
exactly,
You've got
mate.
to have something else to fall back on. I I feel like the women's division right now is like, if you look at who appeared on this show, and add in Danny Luna, because Danny Luna wasn't on this show, but Danny Luna's been on a lot of shows recently.
Yeah,
So Danny Luna, and then Kanji, Emerson, Rio, Windsor, Sapphire, Mercedes, Nina, Lizzie.
hmm
I think you're struggling to find a better group of 8 women's wrestlers in the country. And I am saying women's wrestlers on purpose there, because we're talking about the
of
women's
course, yeah,
division. We're
yeah,
talking
and you
about
have
their
to, yeah,
program. We're talking about their championship. So in terms of like top level women for what should be the top level independent women's championship, which it obviously is, because fucking Mercedes Moné isn't just carrying it, but like representing it weekly, defending it regularly in front of thousands of people. So I can't think of an independent women's championship that I see on social media more than I see, like that anybody will see more than they see the RevPro belt. I don't think there's a better core group of women there. But it's
no,
not like where you're looking at it being like when you're like a football fan and like you're trying to put together like when Real Madrid were trying to put together like the greatest team ever in like the mid 2000s, and they had Zidane and Figo and all those sort of guys, and you're like, can you just imagine if we just got that one more or that one more? I don't think there's not many women, if any. No one's coming to mind immediately out in British wrestling where it's like, if they could just get that woman, it would make this division like perfect. It feels like it's pretty much like every major women's wrestler in the country at the moment is working RevPro either weekly or at least on rotation occasionally. For a long time, it didn't feel like that. It felt like all the top women that I'd get, people would talk to me about the top women in wrestling, and it would be people not working in RevPro, like pre-Cutthroat Collective. It'd be all these people where it'd be like they'd be on all the Eve shows and they'd be working for all the other companies, but they wouldn't be working RevPro. Whereas now it feels like they all are.
I'm just going to say one thing. This is my weekly time where I say Andy Quilden, Book, Sky, Smithson.
Oh God, yeah.
Book.
I listened to her Making Towns podcast.
So did I, mate.
Mate,
Fantastic.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Like that woman, like just listening to her talk about wrestling made me like her even more, because it was like, yep, you are my kind of wrestler, not just in the way you wrestle and the way you perform and do everything, but just listening to you talk about your philosophies of wrestling. Just it's exactly how I see wrestling as well.
She's fucking great, mate. Fucking great.
Mate, she's absolutely class. Would love to see more of her.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
perfect.
I take your point well, Dave. And look, as we enter the last 10 minutes here, I don't want to get into like loads of rabbit holes and whatnot. But one of the things you mentioned there as well was saying Sapphire seems to be taking a leadership role. I mean, I think she actually out and out said it. She said, "I call the shots now." So
She did, didn't
Sapphire,
she? And I wasn't sure if that
yeah,
was like because I was trying to watch the other women to see how they responded to
yeah,
it.
and none of them, no, because I did the
But
same thing. None of them shook when she said it.
no, it was quite either they were performing very subtly and are
Hmm.
going to reveal that side later, or it was just nope, that's the hierarchy.
Yeah, and look, it could be something as simple like I'm again. You like to say a lot that you sometimes you look for the meaning and things that might not be there, and you're just looking for meaning for
Yeah,
it. But it could be as simple as they were. I mean, I don't think Mercedes Blaze was in the women's tournament. I could be wrong, but they all competed in the women's tournament, and Sapphire was the one that got the match against Mercedes. She's the one that
yeah,
came out on top. So that could just be the pecking order there. They could see her that she was the one who initiated the attack against Windsor. Therefore, she is usurped. She is the scar of that group.
yeah.
Um, I thought the way they did it was class. I thought they all looked fucking great. Um, I love the parallels to last year, right? So we were talking about this that we're like, are they going to go for the hatches? And then they started grabbing them. We're like, huh. And we actually
Yeah,
said, we were like,
literally everybody was the same, wasn't it?
yeah, so
Contenders, Hatches, Francesca,
Oscar.
Oscar.
So we saw from the side of the ring, we saw Francesca just standing there because I was looking out for this because I was like, there are so many parallels of what's happening that, again, details are not left like undone, right? So
No,
I was like, why is Francesca standing there? Because Francesca, the character, would, and then this is probably as then it all just started, the chaos started to unfold, right? You then saw everyone get dragged in and go, right, they are doing this, like they're going down the same route, and that's when they went and grabbed her at that point. I like when we said why she's standing there, that was more in a jokey way. We're like, oh, she should be hightailing out of here, and then they actually went with it. So we're like, well, again, this me and Marty will talk about this to subvert what happened last time because it was such a copy and paste you had to have someone come out and interrupt it this time.
and
And
I assumed that was going to be Hanji.
see, I'm pretty sure when Saf arrived, I'm pretty sure AV was with her. So that's why I was like, oh, that's who it's going to be. But then, is she going to be a fifth person into the group or is she going to stand
Yeah,
up? So when Windsor appeared, I was like, fucking hell, like, this is
and like
AEW's Alex Windsor.
Alex Windsor, babyface Alex Windsor, we haven't seen for over 2 years. And I'm so ready for it.
Yes.
She
So,
looked like such a badass.
yeah,
And
she
like
did.
she like we talk about the blokes putting on size. The amount of size that Alex Windsor has put on, like her arms and shoulders are just she looks so jacked
Hmm.
and it suits her so well from like a not from a pervy bloke's point of view, from a wrestling point of view.
Yeah, I
um
get what you mean.
I feel like we've got a whole new Cutthroat Collective versus the world because we've got an Alex Windsor side to it, and this time it's not about we need groups of women to take out the Cutthroat Collective. We've got the Cutthroat Collective. Do you remember the storyline that I thought one of the storylines that AEW kind of teased but never delivered anywhere near on the level it should have done was Frankie Kazarian, the Elite Hunter.
Yeah,
And this is like Alex Windsor's just going to take out the CCC
there was
one at a time.
a
And if we
story.
can do it, like
Yeah,
one in September, like one this weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like do one at Raw Deal with if Alex is available, and then you do one in October, one at the end of September, one mid October, one in November, and then you've got one each month, leaving Sapphire for Uprising in December.
yeah.
Perfect.
It reminded me that back in the day, sort of around 2004, 2005, might have been 2005, maybe slightly later. Um, Edge was attacked by Evolution, and he come back and he cut a promo and he said, "One by one, you're all gonna fall." And it
Nice.
felt very reminiscent of that, like that kind of "I'm coming for you all, motherfuckers."
Yeah.
Dave,
Yeah, just I really everything about this show, mate, I thought was a success.
we've got just over 5 minutes, and I want to ask you one question before we finish up.
Go for it, mate.
Does Alex Windsor actually beat everyone in the Cutthroat Collective? I think we're taking it as a given that she is going to, right? Because when you run these storylines, and she is the most prominent wrestling character in that storyline because of her work with AEW. But does she beat them all? Because I think if you've rebooted the Cutthroat Collective and you have them all fall to Alex Windsor, the Cutthroat Collective then has to be done. Could we see a scenario where she gets to Sapphire and you have the big match and Sapphire wins?
Oh, you've got
Cementing Sapphire at the top of the card in the women's division.
Yeah.
Sapphire beats. Her protege rises up to beat her. The little shit, as she put it, rises up to beat her. Now, of course, that would need to come with AW's blessing because Windsor is being featured prominently and strongly on screen. But I could see this as a scenario where, because of everything she's done with RevPro, put Sapphire over in the ultimate way before disappearing again for a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you were saying that, I was just sitting there being like, yeah, I can see them.
Because it's logical storytelling, right?
Windsor. But then when you said, like, this feels like a revamp of the Cutthroat Collective, you're like, oh, maybe we don't want them all to lose.
Is it the reboot, in case you go like this, or is it the prequel where they're trying to just cash in on the nostalgia and go, hey, this is what made you love us in the first place?
Yeah.
So I suppose it's what analogy you want to use, because with the prequels are never received well. And it's like, right, it's done, and then we go.
Do you know what I quite like? Do you know what I would quite like? If I like what you've just painted there. I like that picture of Sapphire winning the big one. But if politics doesn't allow that, then I'm quite happy with Windsor to win all of those big singles matches. But in between, Cutthroat Collective to be on like every card, winning some version of a tag match.
Mm-hmm.
So we're telling that story that when they're together, no one can beat them.
Yeah.
Individually, they're as vulnerable as anybody else is. So if you can like nullify the threat of the collective and get one-on-one, they're beatable. But Pretty Psycho fall into Cutthroat Collective, this is where you could either do it with teams. We saw LA Taylor and Sky Smithson in the Gauntlet, very clearly a team. They didn't hide from the fact that they were a team. You could use that, or you can put people together like we've done in the past with Kanji and Lucia Lee, who's coming back from injury, and things like that, and have them. And I know that would sound a little bit like, well, we've done all that before. Yeah, we have, but I'm not going to complain at seeing it again, especially now it's like a year later. These are matches to build to a different finale, because it's all about Windsor and the singles matches rather than the big clusterfuck 5-on-5 they did at the anniversary last year.
And you're almost having your cake and eating it. You kind of always get a bit multiverse there, aren't you? Like, we've seen this, same but different a little bit. Like, it plays into each other nicely. Yeah, I just want to see something where, if we are going down the route of wanting to keep them together afterwards and not able to have Sapphire win, then we need something that cements that. And I like that suggestion, mate. As we wrap up here, Dave, just a quick one. Did you happen to watch the interview that Amira did with Wrestle Things by any chance?
No, it's on my to watch list. I keep seeing little clips of it, and I really really want. I keep thinking like, oh, I need to watch that. I need to watch it, and it's just it's been a bit too busy my end,
Look,
returning to school and stuff. But
I'm gonna spoil a very very small part, and it's just very minor. But I found it really interesting. So they asked Amira about managing other people and pitches, right? So she wouldn't go into depth about things that have been pitched to her, which whether they turned down or it just wasn't right for them, because obviously wanting to protect it. But she actually shared some things that she pitched in RevPro. She pitched some version of her being involved in the Cutthroat Collective until learning that they were a heel stable. She apparently wanted to manage a female stable. So whether or not that was something that she put into the universe and it became the Cutthroat Collective and just very different to what she was looking for, but there was that initial Amira and the Cutthroat Collective. There was something planned there. Two people that she put forward being a manager for, and they just felt it didn't make sense how they would get there. Cameron Kai and JJ Gale.
really,
Yeah. She felt that, especially her with JJ, felt like it could be a good match, and I agree.
JJ seemed really cool as well because it's almost like you could and Andy is obviously a fucking massive WWF mark from back in the day. You could do a little bit of Hogan, Randy Savage.
Yeah, 100%. And she also said that she never wants to tag with Michael. They don't want to do the mixed tag thing. Never want to do that.
I'm not a big fan of it generally, mate. Like this whole CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins thing. Like, I've enjoyed all the interactions between Becky Lynch and CM Punk, but I don't really want to watch that.
I remember when Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, they both won titles, and this was years ago now, and I loved them both singly.
Corbin and someone.
And Lacey Evans, and fucking sucked. And they suddenly became they were both quite cool, and they became less cool because of it. And I think
because I remember that WrestleMania, I was so invested in it that I stayed up all night to watch it. Which I hadn't done since I was a kid. And I was like, because that was Kofi Mania as well, wasn't it? And it was like
35, yeah.
I wanted Kofi to win, I wanted Rollins to win, I wanted Becky to win. And I was like, I'm not going to get all three of them. So how many of them can I get? Am I happy if I just get one? Which one do I care most about? And then we got all three of them, and it was like getting all your Christmases at once.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ruined it immediately by making Steph and Becky the most detestable couple in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I genuinely believe the only one I can think of, the only mixed tag team match that I've ever seen that I was like, I'll go and watch that again. It was brilliant. It was Triple H and Stephanie McMahon versus Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. And you're like, even now saying that sounds so shit.
No, they
made Ronda Rousey look like an absolute beast.
They knew how to play to the people in the ring, and they knew how to play to the occasion. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and it was the perfect debut for her because obviously they'd spent a long time putting that match together, even rehearsing it for her. Yeah. But I remember watching it with my missus. I had it on. And she was just immediately, she loves tough women. She's a tough woman herself.
Yeah.
And she was just like, Ronda Rousey, my new favourite wrestler in the world.
Nice.
In one match.
Love it. Oh, Dave, it's been fun, mate. It's been
enjoyed
fun.
That, mate. Enjoyed that very much so.
2 shows this weekend.
Next week, should we just do a chat about the whole weekend?
We'll do a chat about the whole weekend for sure, mate. I've got
enjoy Danny Luna versus Brain Leverkusen.
I will do
everything else that comes with it.
Absolutely, my friend. It will be a good weekend. Apparently, I have 2 Nico Angelo matches to look forward to, which is going to be a
nice in itself. Nice. He is someone I wish I got to see more of.
Andy Quilden, please book Nico Angelo. Add him. Add him to Jay Joshua and Connor Mills as a trio for Barcelona. Thank you. Until next time.
The blood triangle.
Let's go with it. The blood triangle. Right.
Which sounds so AEW, doesn't it?
And I don't
Death
think
Triangle.
yeah, I don't think it's the Blood Diamond. Dave, you're now accusing them of being diamond hunters. What was the film? Oh, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio in Blood Diamond. Well, it was Blood
It is Blood
Diamond.
Diamond,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Blood Diamond. Yeah, they are diamond
Yeah.
eyes. They are diamond eyes. They are.
Oh, Diamond
Yeah,
Eyes. Sorry, of
yeah,
course they are. 'Cause it's the Deftones song, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So you're now just going down a completely different route.
Yeah, I've just turned them
Yeah.
into. Yeah. Got a bit weird and dark there at the end, didn't it?
Bye, guys.
Bye.